Hey everybody. So, welcome to my nutrition playlist. This is my nutrition video of my own. I'll probably only be making one, at least I think so, because most of the people in this playlist have already thought of everything or have already explained everything that I have to explain, except for just a few small details. Well, they're actually not small. You could say that they're the most important details that are being left out. The philosophical aspect of nutrition, and not just the scientific. The people in my playlist, they're very smart when it comes to science, and I wouldn't say I'm stupid, but I'm not on any of their level. Uh, I couldn't give a half-hour lecture on lectins or an hour presentation on insulin resistance or anything like that. But I can explain why all of this matters or why you should care and the best philosophical framework to operate under or around or through. Um, because all of this factual information doesn't really help if you don't care. And so, why should you care? Um, you should care because your body's a gift. And a gift from whom? Well, God or the gods. Now, before you turn off this video, all you atheists out there, I think you should re examine your position. Um, I understand the atheist position, it's quite simplistic, um, but I can still sympathize. If there's a God, why does life suck so much? Why is there so much suffering? Why is the world so shitty? Well, that's a very good question. It's a valid question. I might have an answer, but that's really not important because regardless of whether God is allowing suffering or not, you can't ignore the reality of the situation, the logic of the situation. We are machines, and all machines have engineers, and so biology, life is just so complex. It's impossible for it to be an accident, and you wouldn't look at a watch or a Ferrari and say, "Oh, that must have happened by accident," without any intelligent designing, without any engineering. So there's either one God or many gods. I'm not really sure how it works, but there's something more intelligent than us that designed us and put us here. For what reason? I'm not sure exactly. I think to learn. Um, but anyway, the reason why I'm telling you all this is that it's really easy. It makes it a lot easier um, to follow nutritional principles or to deny yourself your treats or the things that you think you can't go without. It's easy to have more discipline. You really don't need discipline if you have gratitude, and if you feel a level of responsibility for the gift of your body that you've been given. Uh, and really, it's the selfish thing to do. It's the smart, strategic thing to do, because if someone gave you a car and you didn't take care of it, you scratched the paint on purpose, or you never changed the oil, or you put in the wrong kind of fuel, or you never cleaned it. All these kinds of things, you drove it, recklessly. the person who gave you that car would not be inclined to give you anything else in the future. And that's kind of how life works. Um, our body is a gift. Our body is our vehicle, and when we care for it, we show that we're appreciative of it and grateful for it, and that we take it seriously, and that leads to other blessings. At least in my experience, I think the reason why my life is full of blessings is because I have shown gratitude for what I've been given. So, put the right fuel in your car, and the person who gave you the car will reward you. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Um, that's about it. Everything else is covered in these videos. You know, I'm not going to talk too much about vegetable oil, even though I would like to. I don't need to. There's 3 long videos about it and how terrible it is for you. Um, if you're depressed, stop eating wheat. There's really no videos about that. There are some research papers how wheat causes depression. But anyway, and also just, you know, if you ever feel like you can't limit your diet, just remember that there are people like the Eskimos or the Maasai who live their whole lives on meat and fat and nothing else. And if you're a vegan, I don't know if you're a vegan watching this, probably not, or vegetarian. I used to be vegan for a long time, and it was quite frankly one of the stupidest things I've ever done. I'm glad I did it because I learned from experience that it's not right for me or for humans in general. Um, but yeah, if you think that being vegan is helping animals, you really need to think about the bigger picture and all the animals that die to make your plants through pesticides and herbicides and rodenticides and secondary poisoning from predators eating the rodents that ate the rodenticide and industrial fertilizer runoff. All of these things can be avoided with animal agriculture, not factory animal agriculture, but um, what would be called regenerative or organic. I guess you could be organic without being regenerative, but yeah, we should be eating mostly animals, is my point, which is the exact opposite of what I used to believe. I used to think humans are not designed to eat meat, and it makes you sick, it gives you cancer, it gives you heart disease, blah blah blah. But Eskimos don't have heart disease. Eskimos don't have cancer. Eskimos don't have diabetes. Um, and they don't have and they really don't have a shorter life expectancy if you factor in. Um, they do, but that's only factoring in higher infant mortality. So when you have a few zeros averaged into your life expectancy, that reduces the average. But they have plenty of very old people, and they have more life in their older years than most Americans or Western people. So yeah, stop eating vegetable oil. Stop eating plants in general. Really, most plants. Um, some are worse than others, and stop eating so many carbohydrates, especially refined sugar, wheat. That's about it, I think. Um, I hope you find all this information useful. It's been life changing for me, and I hope that it will be for you too. Uh, this is a work of love. I love. If you're watching this, I love you, and I hate to see people suffer. You know what? I got one more point to make, which is governments don't want healthy people, generally speaking. I think maybe the German government wanted their people to be healthy for a while in the early 1900s, and Kennedy made a speech about the fitness of American people. But generally speaking, governments are owned by pharmaceutical companies, and pharmaceutical companies make more money when people are sick. So that's why governments are recommending food that is not food. They're recommending poison, basically. Something distracted me outside the window. Um, that's why the food pyramid or the dietary guidelines are full of grains on the bottom. It's not because that's what you should be eating. It's because that's what you should not be eating. Governments just do the opposite of what the government tells you, and you'll be fine. um, yeah, they call it the food pyramid. I think they should be called the genocide pyramid because that's basically they're when people follow those guidelines, they're achieving a slow death, basically a premature death, and decreasing the quality of life in their later years. So don't eat grains. Grains are not human food. Grains are seeds. Seeds have phytic acid. Phytic acid absorbs minerals, prevents mineral absorption in the body, causes mineral deficiencies. Long story short. Okay, I think that's everything. Um, Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And if you don't like how slowly I speak, then there is that little. Uh, you can make it 1.5 or however fast. I've had complaints from people about how slowly I speak sometimes, or pauses that I make. Don't eat potato chips either. There's so many things that you shouldn't eat. I really shouldn't get started because I don't know where to stop. But as a civilization, we have to grow up. We have to stop being children and seeking instant gratification all the time. That's what people don't want to give up. Things that either make them nostalgic about their childhood, or things that give them the instant gratification and the spike of dopamine, like from sugar or whatever. You can enjoy life without these things, and if you can't, if you feel like you can't, then um, you need to make some changes. You can get more enjoyment in the gym. I like going to the gym a lot more than I like eating donuts. I haven't had a donut. I love donuts. I haven't had a donut in years. I was walking past some donuts earlier, and I was like, man, it would be so nice. Those look so delicious. But I know that I would feel like crap afterwards. I know that it would affect me negatively. Even just one donut at this point, I'm so sensitive. Like same thing with alcohol. Even just one beer now ruins my day, ruins the next day. So I don't drink at all. And so I was thinking about donuts as I walked past them. I was like, am I really never gonna have another donut my whole life? so far it's been very easy. Um, Maybe I'll have one or two in the next 50 years. Who knows? But I'm kind of rambling now. Wonder if you're still listening. Wonder how many people are going to watch this video. Oh well, I need to get to the gym. It's getting late. Um, all right. Oh, we're only at 15 minutes. I thought it was going to be like 20 or 25. Well, I guess that's pretty much everything. I've probably said that like 3 or 4 times already now. I guess if I think of anything else, I'll make another video. But yeah, nutrition. They don't teach us this in schools. This playlist is stuff that every high school student should learn, and they don't learn any of it. And it's something that every doctor should learn, and they don't learn any of it. Did you know that doctors get 4 hours of nutritional schooling education? You might not be smarter than a doctor in, you know, toxicology or anatomy or whatever, but by the end of, if you watch this playlist, by the end of this playlist, you will be smarter than a doctor, much smarter than a doctor, uh, as far as nutrition is concerned. I mean, there are doctors are telling their patients that diabetes is chronic, that you can't reverse it. Diabetes is excess blood sugar, elevated blood sugar. If you don't eat sugar, which includes complex carbohydrates like bread and rice, if you don't eat those things, you can't have elevated blood sugar. It has to come from somewhere. So, obviously, the cure for diabetes is to stop eating sugar, carbohydrates. Sugar is worse because it's already sugar. It doesn't take a second to break down like complex carbohydrates. It's like saying, if someone's banging their head against the wall and they have a headache, that would be like a doctor saying, "There's no cure. You have to take these painkillers, which will make some money for big pharma." No, just stop banging your head against the wall. That's what you're doing. If you have diabetes, you're banging your head against the wall. You're you're injuring yourself. You're putting a toxic quantity of carbohydrate into your body. And also, one more thing. I'm not perfect, and I've been very imperfect for most of my life. I've smoked cigarettes. I've smoked weed. I've taken Adderall, both prescription and not prescription. Most of it I had a prescription, but it ruined my life basically. Even though it was legal and legitimate, there's no legitimate need for that stuff. It's meth. I was a drug addict. Um, Anything else? Alcohol. I didn't have too much of a problem with that ever really, but I'm really glad that I don't use it anymore. So yeah, I'm 34 years old, and you know I'm only clean. I've only been clean from all these poisons for, well, it depends on which one, but 7 years for cigarettes and alcohol, and um, I got 7 years for Adderall too, but only like 2 years for weed. Um, so yeah, I'm not perfect. I mean, nowadays I'm pretty much on the straight and narrow, but I haven't always been this way. So okay, I think that's probably about it for now. again, thanks for listening. I wish you the best. Health is wealth, and life is so different when you take care of yourself, and you deserve it. You deserve to love yourself and treat yourself like someone that you love. You wouldn't put poisonous, if you knew something was poisonous, you wouldn't force feed your mother or your daughter or whoever. You wouldn't force them to eat something that you knew was bad for them. So if you can learn to love yourself like you would love anyone else, and you know what food is bad for you, knowledge is power, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to empower you to love yourself correctly, because you can try, but if you don't really know how, then you're kind of in the dark. So here's some. I'm just trying to shine some light on the situation for you. Okay. Hope you're having a great day, and I hope you have a great life, and I hope part of the reason that you have a great life is because you found me and you found these videos and this playlist. So I'm going to take that beeping of that truck outside as a sign that this video is finally over. Much love. Peace out.